What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a special edition of Klepcx FM, brought to you by wearecritics.com. We are coming to you live from what will be the renovated new studio for CritiX Media, my parent company that I work for and own. But today is a special day because we finally, with my friends from FanMen, we get to talk to you full on. We're going to spoil it, guys? Spoil it?
We're going nuts.
So listen, if you have not seen Masters of the Universe, I suggest you stop, drop, and roll on out, come back, and reconvene with us so that you can, tell us about how you felt about it. Because we're going all in, guys. We're going to break this thing down. We're going to talk about things we love, things we didn't really like, which is probably a short list.
It's
very
small.
Yeah.
It's small.
Let's not bury the lead. So.
But, we're going to go all in, and we're going to, engage with you guys, and if we can answer any questions below about this thing. So without further ado, guys, let's talk about how we felt. Like, overall consensus, like, what did you feel the first time we pressed play and we got to watch Masters of the Universe on Netflix?
Well, I think we need to start with the whole He-Man thing. So this is not a new property for us. There's going to be people who see this thing on Netflix and watch it and go, oh, what's that guy? So He-Man's been around since the early 80s. We were all of the generation that watched the show after school, had the little plastic men in the bedroom, had the lunch boxes, the stickers, the Mr. Bubble, the toothbrushes, the whole nine. So this is almost like a homecoming for us, going back to Eternia. Eternia is the planet where He-Man's from.
For those who don't know.
So this is a character who, even though, I think we talked about it last time we did something, even though he has not been around as consistently as the Marvel stuff and your DC stuff and, whatever, Star Wars, etc., there is a little corner of the heart that is reserved specifically for He-Man.
Yeah, he's never really left.
No, he just has been in your face like he is going to be going forward. So this is more than just like, hey, there's this new cartoon on. This is a huge deal for anyone from, any of us 80s kids. Like, our guy's back. So that's just, I just want to present. This isn't like this. Oh, what's this new He-Man thing? This thing's been around for a while. So, and full disclosure, it's show run by our guy Kevin Smith. We're obviously gigantic Kevin Smith fans. That's been
All three of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no
So I always like to leave the disclaimer that because it might sound a little biased.
So, Chris, what about you, man? When we first pushed play, because we got to screen it, at your love. That second time
we
around.
got to check it out.
Yeah.
Second time around.
Yeah, that was interesting. First time you hit play, it was awe. I was a little kid again.
Yeah.
Music kicks in, you start seeing those images on screen again, and you're 10 years old playing with the toys back in your parents' house. It's one of those things. I couldn't wait. It pulls you right in from the second you start playing that. You get that intro leading into that show, and it was honestly, we sawed through all 5 episodes. I mean, there was barely a break in there.
Yeah.
We got to the next one 10 seconds later. It's roll, and it's like, wait, we're done?
Yeah, I think there was one beer break, one bathroom break, and that was it.
That was about it.
For me, it was the art. Like, and you pointed this out, DJ, the first time we watched it. Like, it had the box art that, as a kid, you remember. Like, you remembered when you bought that toy out of the store. I think it was Caldor.
Oh,
yeah.
I was telling you, it was Spags.
Spags.
It was my parents taking me to Spags.
Chow World.
Yep, Chow World.
Toys R Us. Shout
Toys
out
R Us,
to and the artwork was exactly the same, just the opening. So I immediately, my heart's racing. I'm like, yo, this is going to be probably
Yeah,
the
you didn't
best
trip
thing.
over anything there.
Yeah,
No,
It was
yeah,
exactly
like-
what you wanted to see when that came on screen.
And they put it right in your face. Like, hey, guess what? Here's all your stuff. And you're like, oh, this is going to be epic.
Yeah.
Like, they care. They give a damn. Because right after they said right off the bat, it was box art. It was all box art right in your face.
It's like the best fan service you could expect.
Yeah.
And there's like
It's
a
like going
solid,
to it,
there's
though.
like a solid montage or like a monologue over it explaining the mythos, everything that we remember or should remember or don't remember from the original cartoon, the original story. And then it starts, and I'm just gonna say this, like, for me, the overall, a lot of people are complaining about what they saw in the trailer, and they think that it's going to be, very female driven, and they're going to get rid of, masculinity in this film. I mean, this cartoon.
He-Man's not even in it. It's a Tila show.
And I personally, I got a chance to thank the man, the boss himself, Kev, and I said that for opening up the universe. I applaud you. I appreciate that, because for what we've known for so long was that everything was He-Man versus Skeletor and credits.
Yeah,
He-Man
those are your
versus
big two, and
Yeah.
that was it.
credits.
And that's a very good point to make. It's like, I do it, obviously, I'm one of the biggest honks on God's green earth about whatever it is I'm talking about. But when you think about this, is a continuation kind of the Filmation series as far as like the essence and the spirit, and maybe just the mythos timeline they're following. But, even though we all loved it when we were kids, let's not kid ourselves. That cartoon didn't do anything. It didn't go
tough
anywhere.
Rewatch.
It's
It
horrible
really
to
is.
rewatch. It was there to make you
tried.
go to Cowdoors and go, Mommy, I want Stratos.
Yeah.
That's all it was for.
Yeah.
They made it to sell the toys.
And it was completely by accident.
Because how do you sell the kids? Repetition.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's
You
why
get it on
you
screen.
get those Blues Clues theme songs, the Baby Shark's
Oh,
the new
God,
thing.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
You
He-Man
know,
was Baby
brutal.
Shark.
So the plot lines were very simple, very like cut and dry.
Shirtless
Like,
guy punches
what-
skeleton.
What did you like about it, Chris? That was just like different, that from what we grew up on to what they gave us now.
The biggest thing for me was now you have the voice cast that you have bringing into this. This is a major production with voice and names you recognized and true performances. I mean, the original cartoon, you're going back to that one. It was very, you could tell they just voiced over it. There wasn't a lot of thought put into the performance of this.
Yeah.
This is an acted out drama. They're taking these characters seriously.
Yeah.
You know, it's right down from Hamill playing Skeletor. It's
Yeah.
everything you dreamed it would be. That voice gives you chills. Sarah Michelle is Teela.
Yeah.
That's, in this first arc you see, you get a whole big dose of Teela.
Yeah.
And she knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
The whole character arc you're watching through those 5 episodes. It's that, just the performance and the quality of that video there.
I like to compare it to like, it went from small time after school cartoon to a television series.
That's a good way of putting it.
It's very television series in the writing and the fact that everyone gets to shine. It's written in a way where there's longevity in the characters.
There was thought put into the casting, into the character development, the whole thing.
It's written like the Marvel shows.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Because nowadays you need substance to sell things, or other people.
Yeah,
People
you-
just see right through it. They see right through the bullshit.
Exactly.
And
You can't
always
copy the
see
stuff from the
through
80s.
bullshit,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Oh, of course.
So there is a big change, a big shift in the storyline. Do we want to break that news? Do we want to break their hearts or whatever these softies are worried about?
What? What do you get? Tell me He-Man died or something? Oh, shit. That's right. My bad.
Listen, a lot of people die in this
A lot
shit.
of people. Yeah.
There's consequences.
This thing is.
Yeah.
This show is.
There's consequences.
It's Eternia of Thrones, pretty much.
Oh man.
So
That's a good way of putting it.
It is.
I like
So
that, yeah.
if you start with episode 1, and we talked about you got the intro with the box art and stuff, and you knew it was going to be your fan service.
Yep.
And it's Skeletor's going to storm the castle. Here he goes doing Skeletor stuff. Then you realize,
Skeletor stuff.
yeah, he knows, but now he knows why he wants Grayskull. He knows what's in there. He knows where
There's
to
a
go.
motive there now.
Yeah.
There's a motive.
There's
There's
a grand plan.
and there's a plan. And then they have what they kind of call like the battle for Eternia. And right off the bat in this first episode, they literally take your toy box and they dump it out and they give you every character, every goddamn vehicle, everything.
So that was the biggest
In
kick
like
in the
6
head,
minutes.
right?
Oh my God, land
And
sharks
it's even your
batons.
minor characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stridor and Faker and Whiplash
Yeah.
and Webstor and it's like, or sorry, Spikor and even though
They
they don't
threw
have
them all
lines,
at
you
you.
see Fisto, you see Klepcx. It's like who was one of the last characters created for the toy line, and it was just like, you're gonna sit on the couch with it's like that Leo DiCaprio meme, like the
Yeah, they emptied the toy box for you.
Yeah. And it gets you the energy just in episode 1 alone. It like gets you into it. Like I promise you guys, like episode 1, you're gonna be out of your seat or on the edge of your seat, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I think when we first saw it, we said like, wow, they did not even fuck around. They came out throwing like Nolan Ryan heaters.
Yeah.
And like to the point where I was a little out of breath at first. I had to like take a second. I was like, gee, what the hell just happened? That was insane.
Yeah.
It took me a second because you guys saw it for the second time
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
And you're looking over at me for a reaction. And I'm still sitting there staring at the screen like,
I was dying
what the
for it,
hell
too.
did I just watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had time to
Like,
process it.
exactly. You guys are going through for the second time and you're watching for beats and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm just sitting
Yeah.
there wide-eyed the
Well,
whole
and
time.
also you're the mature adult, so I always like to see if there's like the anticipation.
plays for me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always like to check that out.
But I mean, the first time we watched it, like literally the last episode, we were like, no, first episode.
yeah, we turned around. I was
again,
like,
we were
what the? just happened? Like, what is going on?
We said episode 1.
They did. They just it's on the table, so to
Yeah.
speak. They don't play.
No, they're off and running.
Yep, and you get all your characters, you get all your storylines plotted out. They're going to make
All your
Tila-
favorites will be there.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're making Tila. She's going to succeed. Her dad is Man at Arms, and this the same thing. The same crew of people knows about Adam being He-Man, etc. But then Skeletor shows up and throws a huge wrench in it.
Which was like a huge reminder because although I was always a fan as a child, there are a lot of beats that get planted in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I forgot that Man at Arms and Orko and
Cringer.
Sorcerers and Cringer were
That's
the
it.
only ones that knew who in the mother too.
Yeah.
Well,
It
she
was
didn't-
The
always-
mother did, yeah.
always
She
had
she had an inkling.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
the mom who's got like 5 lines as Alicia Silverstone. Like they just didn't. They spent money on this.
Yeah. So then, after the first episode, we're like in awe. We're like, what the fuck? Then there's like a pullback in the pace. The story kind of gradually gets you through the grieving process.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah, without saying too much, yeah.
So at the end of episode 1, I'm going out there for a minute. So at the end of episode 1, Skeletor tricks He-Man into stabbing him in the chest with the Sword of Power,
He's giving it to you guys.
It's
and he unlocks the magic of Eternia, and then He-Man has to separate the sword into 2, and perishes separating the sword of 2. So He-Man and Skeletor are gone, in theory,
yeah.
right off the bat.
Yeah.
So
And
let's stop for a
yeah.
second there. This is one thing that the original cartoon, Skeletor, there was never a grand plan.
no.
He was the bumbling foe to He-Man. That,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He-Man
pretty
could
good.
always easily dispatch, like, yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
He looks good on screen, but
And there was never any
that's
stakes.
not this.
There was never any stakes either.
Yeah, nah, they definitely and there was a cool nod. I don't know if any of you guys caught that nod where Skeletor and He-Man battle in the first one and he says the line from the movie. Let this
Yes.
be our final battle.
Yes, yep. They
Yeah,
do a couple.
so-
There's a couple little harkens to the movie, which is funny.
Which-
Everyone hates it.
I can't believe he called back to that shitty movie, but
Yeah.
but he did.
Yeah. By the way, we have a
Hey, we did a breakdown
yeah
of that
we have
movie
we have an
not
entire
too long ago.
we have an entire drunken commentary track
Oh, I got to
on
hear
YouTube
that.
for Master of the Universe.
I
so
got to hear.
it was-
I
it
got
was-
some
Oh,
words
it's
so
it's
basic.
a
It was
it's a
fun.
tough watch.
It was fun,
It's
though.
tough to go back.
Yeah.
But so now you go into episode 1 comes out, gives you everything you thought you wanted over the span of the entire series. You wanted He-Man, Skeletor, you wanted to see all your toys, you wanted a grand battle, and you wanted some consequences. That all happens in 32 minutes.
yeah.
Like they took that's all I wanted out of the whole 10 episode series. They give it to you in 32 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they jump ahead a little bit. So Tila's kind of gone off on her own. So that's why everyone got pissed about the Tila thing. So like, I don't see He-Man. Then Tila changes haircuts and stuff like that. It's gonna be all Tila. Tila kind of like she quits the Eternian Guard and she goes off on her own, and because she's mad because her best friend and her father and they kept this gigantic
Everybody's been
secret
lying
from
to her.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very. I'm trying to think. It's that happens in a bunch of storylines. They do it a lot.
Let's say it this way: like a lot of people complain. Okay, yeah, it's the storyline. There has to be a hero in the story, but in the
Yep.
writing process of this is essentially like Endgame. What is the world like without He-Man and Eternia?
Good one.
What is
That's
the world?
very good.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's following all your favorite characters, but now the world is empty. There's no magic. There's no He-Man.
Yep.
There's no sword. There's no Grayskull.
Yep.
What would Eternia be like?
And you're following what happens to all these other characters
Yes,
after the fact.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The different paths they're taking.
Yeah, so let's go with this too. Is like as you get episode 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like I said. People thought, oh, it's the Tila show. No, it's like honestly, almost every character gets their own like little path in the sun. They got it. They did no one got done dirty in this thing.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No.
So if you get episode 2 and you're like, Tila, no, it's gonna be fine.
These aren't cookie cutter characters.
Yeah, you'll be
No.
okay.
You'll be surprised pleasantly.
Yeah.
A lot of pop, and we skipped over like one major cameo that I didn't even see coming was when Moss Man came out in the episode.
That's right.
that
Moss
was
Man
one
dies
of my-
too.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Voiced by Alan Oppenheimer, the original Skeletor.
yeah, like
That was one of the biggest pops for me.
Yeah.
I loved Moss Man. I was
Well,
at the edge of my seat when I saw
because
him.
He's Swamp Thing basically.
Yeah, he's
He's
essentially
Swamp
Swamp
Thing.
Thing.
yeah,
But yeah, they burned through He-Man, Skeletor, and Moss Man in the first episode.
yeah. So during this journey, their alliances are built. The alliances that would not have normally happened if the two main characters were still around.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the alliance between Orko, Evelyn, and Tila.
Yep. And Beastman
and Triclops was.
Well, Beastman ends up becoming like Evelyn's kind of like
He's
protector.
muscle.
Exactly.
Which, by the way,
he's the hard
Which
muscle.
makes sense.
The art direction for Beastman is just like, I mean,
He's gorgeous.
I think he's the best looking character in this show.
Yeah.
Savage Beastman is just it's a wonder to behold.
But like even with that writing, like that makes sense. Beastman would be the protector of Evelyn because she is the first lady of Snake Mountain.
Exactly, pretty much, yeah.
Right.
What did you guys think about the Alliance and how they kind of, took the scraps, picked up the pieces and said,
I mean, it makes sense. You have, the sorceress sends Tila, 'cause she's the only one that has the battle wits to do it.
And they had a common interest.
Yeah,
They did.
exactly. They all need the magic.
Yeah.
And they
It
need Tila
follows
to
a
help.
very cinematic theme.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your two main characters go away. It's those next opposing forces that end up, they have a common goal now.
It's very similar to what you're going to see in this next Marvel phase.
Yeah.
Because all your big guns are burnt now.
Yeah.
Variants excluded.
And when you watch Loki, we can talk about it.
Tonight. But so you have Evelyn, which by the way, Lena Headley just kills it. Kills it.
She was made to play that character.
Seriously.
I mean, that is
Seriously.
the animated version of Cersei.
Yeah.
It really is.
Pretty much.
I mean, she could just continue that character.
Exactly. It's basically what it is. And then you have Man of Arms is amazing in this show.
I like Rogue Man at Arms. It's kind of like a nomad.
Yeah. Yeah. Very.
Nomad's a good pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a-
Nomad-y with
He's wearing robes off in a little village.
Exactly.
He's been exiled.
Can make anything into a weapon. Very wickish in that sense. But so he's got Orko with him, and Orko's dying pretty much because there's no magic.
There's no magic.
Do we have to talk about that?
We'll get there. And I said he's not doing good because there's no magic, and he's a magic character.
He's dying now.
Slow, like a slow.
Slow, yeah, because there's
Just enough to.
but all the magic characters are because there isn't any of it. So
Yeah.
so Evelyn,
Fountain's dry.
Yeah, so Evelyn does the whole snow, basically pulls a Snow White and turns up into an old woman and tricks Tila to going into Snake Mountain to get
The staff.
a goblet, which ends up being it's the top of the Havoc staff in disguise, kind of. And so you realize that Triclops and Trapjaw, all those guys, they took over Snake Mountain and they're using Eternian technology. They're like Scientologists, pretty much,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
And along the way, we're getting more characters. So it's like a journey through the Eternia catalog.
You get the slime pit. You get Whiplash.
Well, the first character that I remember we saw was Merman.
Yep, you get Merman.
Which was who played Merman?
Kevin Conroy.
Conroy.
Yeah, Conroy, that's right.
Yeah, Batman is Merman.
I thought he did a great job on that.
yeah.
It was brief. I mean, it was very brief, though. And that was actually the episode that Mark wrote, right? I believe it was.
I believe it was,
I think
yeah.
Bernardin wrote the
I believe it was.
Merman. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Bernardin wrote that episode.
Yep. You
And
get Trapjaw.
you get Trapjaw
You
in
get
that
the
episode
Roton
as well,
vehicles,
too.
and I mean,
And then Jay Muse as Skunkor.
you get Jamie as a Stinkor.
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 Yeah,
Stinkor.
you get Stinkor in that
Yeah.
one.
The role he was born to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
The
there's so
voice is
I
just
know
right.
it is. There's so many characters that you kind of almost forget the order they pop up in because there's so many of them.
But you can't forget my MVP, of course, which was Roboto. He's my Justin Long.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Man at Arms gives Tila Roboto to take.
You are going to care about a robot at the end of this thing.
Yeah, you are going to care about Roboto.
Even the robot has an emotional journey.
A character who I never gave a shit about, who I remember having the toy, and I don't even remember why I had the toy.
Because the inside moved.
Because it was the only one that was left that you didn't own when you went to the store.
Pretty much,
That was
yeah.
it.
Yeah, you
He
can
was a
see-
clearance
You just
tag.
wanted one, yeah.
You can see through him, but this gives him purpose, and
Yeah.
by the end
Oh
of
my
it,
God.
you'll be like, no,
Yeah, so-
I want Roboto.
You want him more. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, so you have this group. You have it's Orko, Tila, Evelyn, Beastman, and Roboto, and they have to go basically travel to basically the underworld and Eternia's version of heaven to get the two halves of the Power Sword and forge them together. So the problem is, in order to forge the Power Sword together, you need only one man, and Eternia can do it, and that's Man at Arms. He won't go because he has to stay back and protect the sorceress because that's his duty is to protect
Right.
the sorceress.
That's
Who's
his baby mama.
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of.
That's
I know.
his
Maybe
BM.
you know Sorceress Tatila's mom if you read any of the Mythos stuff, but she's in the same boat. She's dying too. Again, very a la Sorceress in the force field tube in the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie. The same kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was looked like a raisin.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's aging and dying.
So very similar. So his suggestion was, "Well, take Roboto because I programmed Roboto. Everything I can do, he can do."
Yeah.
So they take Roboto, and I'm like, oh, yay, Roboto. But like Chris just said, it's like you care about this character. Like, Roboto kills it. So then they go and they have Merman escort them to the portal to go to like the underworld. And then shit gets nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It gets bonkers. So you get into the next episode, and you realize that the underworld is run by a character who is the most coveted, rarest of the He-Man figures, I believe, but never actually appeared in the cartoon, and that's Scareglow. He was the...
Never appeared in the original?
I don't think he was ever
I
in the
don't
cartoon.
Really?
I never
Yeah.
remember, because I didn't
But-
even remember who he was until you reminded
Yeah,
me.
but
and
he
I'm
was the
like,
coolest figure because he was a glow-in-the-dark skeleton with a cape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What kid doesn't want a glow-in-the-dark skeleton?
Here's the thing, though. When you watch this, like, you really got to know your Masters of the Universe. Or everything.
There's some deep cuts.
Deep cuts.
Certainly.
Things are just going to feel new to you, and you just might take them for what they are. But just know that everything you see is on purpose.
Yep. Like so they're in the underworld, and the whole thing is a Scareglow feeds off of fear, which isn't the most original concept, but so as all these characters get like bamped basically and separated out on their own, so Evelyn's with Orko, and you get the Shadow Beasts and all these like the little red imps, all this stuff from like, again, going back to the old cover art that you never even saw in these cartoons.
Yeah.
It's all just cover art stuff for the vehicles and all that. And once again, Scareglow, voiced by Tony Todd, Candyman himself.
Perfect casting.
Perfect casting.
Perfect.
I was actually talking to the guy who did the casting for Tony Todd. He's like, that's the only guy I wanted. They wanted someone. I fought for Tony Todd, and it delivered. It was pitch perfect. So, you have your your individual, like, I'm scared of this thing. So you have like some zombies and stuff, and you have Orko and Evelyn against like the magical Shadow Beast, and Teela ends up fighting like a reverse Flash kind of version of He-Man.
So
that's kind of not really.
Let's talk
there.
about that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what did that mean? Because I thought I understood what it meant, but like,
I mean,
is she
she's
jealous of him? Or is she afraid of him?
she's scared because her best friend who didn't trust her is gone, and she does not feel. The way I took it is that she does not feel that, now she has to kind of take up the mantle for this mission. I don't think she thinks she can do it. She's very she has confidence issues.
So okay. So
That's the way I take
So
it.
just self-doubt.
So is that like
Yeah.
a little SJW stuff?
Yeah. No. It's like
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No. I think it's more just like, He-Man was the hero, and now she's in a spot where she has to kind of like be the leader and be the hero, and she doesn't know she can do it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get that. I kind of got it. It made sense to me, but I didn't know why it made sense to me. That she would feel that she can't live up to He-Man or have to. I don't know.
Because you get like
I
he's
can't
got-
explain.
And you
it,
get the
but-
feeling that she didn't want the response. She was fighting against the responsibility.
Yeah, and it could be part of that
Yeah.
too. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't want anything to do with any of that stuff. That's why she meets the Palace Guard and she denounces magic, and she wants nothing to do with any of that shit.
But overall, she ends up, fighting the odds, I should say.
Yep.
And then they're almost out of the smoky. They're
Yep.
almost out of in the clear.
So they all band back together. Tila's, does that. I'm not afraid. What was that movie? I'm not afraid of you. What was that movie?
Oh my God,
it was like an '80s movie where something like I don't know.
I should know this.
Drawing it. Yeah, it sounds familiar, but
You know
I'm
what I'm
drawing a
talking
blank,
about?
dude.
So they do, it's a very 80s kind of, story arc right there.
Yeah.
But basically, they stave off Scareglow, and they're able to come back together with the purple half of the Power Sword, so the evil half of the Power Sword, and they see there's a portal in the underworld that will get them to Preternia, which is heaven, basically.
And then we get to that. Then we get to this.
And then out of nowhere, Scareglow puffs up and goes after him. And oh man, this part had me. So
This hurt.
Yeah.
it did.
This one
so
Yeah.
so as Tila got her confidence, Orko got his too in the scenes with Evelyn. And Orko was like, you know what? I got this fool.
Yeah.
And Orko just goes beast mode. And
The old powerful.
Yep, and just he fights off Scareglow. However, in the process, Orko does not make it out. So Orko perishes in the fight with Scareglow.
And this is episode 4.
4.
This is episode 4.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's like the end of episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like, guys? Like losing such an iconic character like Orko. Like we never saw that coming. We never saw that coming.
No, and like as Chris knows, I get very attached to my fictional characters,
He's
especially
like
the
the
little
mouse.
sidekicks.
Definitely.
Especially the sidekicks.
And this one, you don't see other characters will sit there and say, "Oh, that guy's coming back."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Characters.
Yeah.
No.
No, they dig him a
You
grave
don't-
for Christ's sakes.
You don't get that feeling. He's gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some serious magic to bring that back if it's coming back.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
It was kind of it felt definite.
Yeah,
It felt
I mean,
almost as definite as Loki's death.
I mean, unless somewhere in Eternia they have a big gold glove full of jewelry
Yeah,
or something like that, or a time machine, it's not happening.
but every time they give us a setback, they give us something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to what the last episode.
Yeah. So episode 5, episode 5 did something that I didn't think I'd ever see. So,
Yeah.
So right off the bat, episode 5, it starts off. They walk through the portal to Preternia, and in front of you is the 3 towers of the ill-fated Eternia playset from like 1986 that no one I knew could afford. That thing was like
I saw pictures.
Yeah,
that was
right?
about
I've
it. I
never
think I
owned
saw it in
that.
the Sears catalog.
the thing
or
was
something.
bigger than this table. The thing was
Yeah.
the only thing bigger than the Eternia playset was the flag from
Yeah.
GI Joe.
Yeah.
I think I saw the box at Child World
Yeah.
once. It was like in 80s money. It was like
I don't know if I ever saw it in person.
I saw it at Child World.
I
I think it was like $109
the
or
Sears
something like
wish
that.
book or something
never
like
seen
that.
that
I
thing in
never.
person. I've
No,
never.
No, I mean
Never.
it was the it was
I've seen the flag in person before. I've never seen.
yeah. It was your PS5 back then, pretty much.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
You heard stories that existed, but no one could ever really get a hold of one or afford one.
If there's anyone out there that has actually touched one, let us know.
Oh please.
But they didn't stop there.
No.
They didn't stop there. They brought more characters that
Yep.
I didn't even remember until I saw them and I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
So Adam. So
I went
they-
to the phone
Yeah.
to start looking like,
Yeah.
wait, who the hell is this guy?
So Adam comes back, or they bump into Adam because So basically, Preternia is where all the greatest heroes of Eternia get to go, and it's kind of like their great reward. That's how they put it.
They're heaven.
Yeah.
Yep, they're
Yeah.
heaven. And so they bump into Adam, and he learns about Orko and all that kind of stuff, and Mossman's up there too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they go into stuff that has really nothing to do with the cartoon. So the next set of characters.
Before,
Yep.
I want to cut you off. Adam's back, by the way, by the time this happens. He's in this heaven.
Yeah.
They've reunited with Adam.
Yep.
And he chooses to keep his form.
Yeah, so everyone,
Yes.
all the
Yeah.
other He-Men will say chose to live out eternity in Preternia as their He-Man form, basically.
They're warrior form.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's, Adam's humble enough to kind of stay in his Adam form, and
Yeah.
that kind of sparks a little thing with Tila. But you have characters that really didn't kind of like come into the mythos until you got into the Grayskull line of toys that never saw the light of day as they tried to keep the series going after 1987,
remember
and a lot of the Mattel classic stuff, just stuff that they started
Yeah,
pulling out of
see-
old comics and
And that's kind of where I bumped. That's the first time I bumped into characters that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
That was right after I had gone.
yeah.
I remember
period
Hero,
after.
but he didn't look like that. The toy was red. He had a red thing, didn't he?
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think so. So so you got Hero, who was supposed to be. I think there was 2 versions of Hero. One was He-Man's son. One was He-Man's predecessor. So you had Hero, you had King Grayskull,
Who was the Allstate guy?
yeah, it was the All-Star guy who looked like Booker T from WWF. And then you had Vikor, I think his name is, who's like a Viking-looking version of He-Man, who was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you had Wundar, who was the one that looks just like your classic He-Man, but he's got the black version of Zodak's armor on. And the thing with Wundar is kind of like this mysterious, like it's like a Berenstein Bears kind of thing where people swore you could send in UPCs of Wonder Bread and get this figure, and no one. Everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" Like no one can figure out if it's real or not. But supposedly, yeah, they used to call him Wonder Bread He-Man, and he's supposed to be like a giveaway that no one could. Even the guys at Mattel, like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like, no, I got it from Wonder Bread. And they're like, "What are you talking about?" So I don't know. So it's one of those
Okay.
great mysteries in toys. But so yeah, so you got all these really super deep cut characters.
Yeah, they did the thing, man. Like listen. You guys are worried about one character. If you're a real He-Man fan, Masters of the Universe fan, you're going to appreciate everything that you see in this.
I can't think of anybody that you sat there after watching those 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And like, man, I really wish I saw this character. There wasn't a beat that
Yeah.
you really were waiting for.
I
You
had
got everyone.
one. There was one that I kind of
Who's that?
Mechaneck. You don't really see Mechaneck.
But hey, we got
Okay.
5
Or
more.
Cyclone.
You got the
But
back half.
You
but
got your back
more.
half, and you got a second season.
Yeah.
they dumped so much on you
Yeah, there was so much
that
there.
Yeah.
you almost feel bad bitching about any of it.
Yeah.
And listen, and there's so much going on and so much story to follow that by the time you get to the 5th episode, you're only going to be latching on one thing because you're not going to be thinking, oh, well, where's this person at? No, you still got 5 more episodes coming, and the shit that you just went through is emotional enough to keep you like,
Yeah.
scratching your head like, what? Wait a minute, there's more?
It was exhausting.
There's more?
It really was.
Yeah. So, and we even get to like the craziest part of the episode. So, they get the other half of the power sword,
Yep.
and now Roboto has to attempt to forge them
That's
together.
what to do.
So they turn the the Grayskull Tower in Eternia, or Preternia, into a giant forge. And Roboto attempts to forge the sword back together. Problem is, he has to heat it really hot, and typical robot stuff, and he gets it, but then Roboto dies forging the sword of power together.
Dude, it's almost like...
And it's like he calls Tila's sister, and it's
It's
like...
throwing me back to like T2.
Yeah.
If Roboto had
Seriously.
the thumbs up as he was going down into the
Seriously.
flames,
Oh my God, yeah.
it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But you get there's a lot of emotion when a robot dies too. I mean, it was like
Dude,
it was
he
like
was like my favorite.
It was like
Oh.
Bicentennial Man, for Christ's sake. But he's calling Tila's sister, and Tila's kind of sad.
I
And,
wouldn't have gone there.
Yeah, right? Jesus.
but it was
A lot of sacrifices.
a lot of sacrifices. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
throughout
I mean,
this.
like I said, there's real stakes in this.
Yeah.
So then there's a portal in King Grayskull's tower that can go back to Castle Grayskull, which is his namesake. So they get back to Castle Grayskull, and basically Tila throws the sword to Ad, or they bump into Man-at-Arms,
Yeah.
who as they're coming into the castle, Triclops and Trapjaw and Whiplash and all those guys try to storm the castle again, and Man-at-Arms just takes them all out by himself. It's insane. It's such a cool scene. So they get into the castle, and the sorceress is like, okay, let's fix everything, right? So she throws the sword at Adams again. Do you remember she says something like, "Do you remember how the song goes" or something like that? Or it's like, oh, yeah. And then he starts doing the "I have the," and then you realize this whole time Skeletor has been hiding an Evelyn staff, materializes behind him, and stabs Prince Adam through the heart.
Was it through the heart, or was it kind of through the like?
It was.
It kind of went,
it's
mid torso,
big stabby.
kind of, yeah.
Big stabby.
Yeah. Either way, he got stabbed up.
Stabs.
He got shanked.
Yeah, he shanks Prince Adam.
Yeah.
Prison style.
Takes the power sword,
Oh man.
and
Right when you get Adam back.
right when you get Adam back, you
You're
just
on
got
the
him
cusp.
And that.
back. And they
old-
said too is like, if you leave Eternia, you can never return.
Yeah.
So he
They
gives
made
up
a
his
big deal
he
about
gives
talking
up-
about
yep,
that.
He gives up his happy ending to go help his friends.
Yeah.
And so anyone who's wondering why you went into a Target and saw this Skelegod figure on the shelf, you had no idea what it was. It's because Skeletor gets a sword, and in that excellent Mark Hamill voice does the "I have the power."
By
And
the
now
power
Skeletor
of Grayskull.
is the master of the universe.
Interesting choice for the first toy to drop, too.
Wasn't it?
That you go right to the end.
Yeah, someone screwed that up.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. That
So-
should have been held.
and then the show ends, and Prince Adam is you feel is dead. Orko's dead. Roboto's dead.
Mossman's
Adam's
dead.
died twice.
Adam's died twice. The sorceress is dead. Is on her last.
She's a
leg.
raisin.
Yeah.
She's a raisin. Yep. And
But there's magic.
there's magic.
There is magic back,
And
yeah.
Skeletor has all of it.
Listen, we gotta talk about this Skeletor holding the sword, wielding the sword, and saying "by the power of Grayskull," because that had me. I don't know if you remember seeing my face.
It was slackjaw, like mouth hanging open,
was like,
eyes
they just did
wide,
that.
like
Never has happened in any of the cartoons ever.
Skeletor, he could even sit in his own chair back in the 80s
Ever.
without screwing up.
Like, listen, you guys don't even understand. You're getting things that you have never seen before.
They went full Empire Strikes Back.
you're getting Infinity War kind of stuff.
Yeah.
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 The bad guy wins.
Yeah.
And then
Bad too.
and there's still 5 more episodes left.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what you guys are looking for. I don't know what you're hoping for, but this is enough of a roller coaster ride to satisfy anyone. I mean, I was satisfied. I don't know you guys.
Oh, it's
Yeah. No.
everything I wanted.
Yeah, and
It really was.
And there's still more, and we have no idea what that. Well, I kind of have an idea because.
A little bit
Yeah,
of an
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
A little bit of an idea.
I know.
No,
yeah.
I actually got the word.
No.
I got the word from the man.
Did you?
I got the
There's,
word.
there's been some discussions with
Yeah.
some people. I was talked off the ledge for a couple of things. I was told a couple other things. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. He got it from the man, and then I heard from the
yeah,
other man.
yeah. So we've had some talks, but it was I mean, it was everything I hoped it would be and more.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I mean, honestly, I don't think they could have done it any better.
Yeah. No. I mean, well rounded.
If you're a fan of the old show, if you're a fan of those characters, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you really don't bump into any of it. And I think people that even aren't He-Man fans,
I'm gonna like it.
it's just a great show.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna like
It plays very cinematic. Plays like a Marvel movie.
It does, and the animation
really does.
You know, shout out to
Powerhouse
They
killed it.
Like I love
was
Castlevania,
gorgeous.
but this is next level. Like this makes
Bear's-
Castlevania look like
And
a
Bear's
Filmation
score,
show. Oh, it's
the
so
music
good.
is
Yeah.
McCreary scores.
It's got a lot of the God of. It's got a
Unbelievable.
lot of like the God of War notes from the last God of War game too that he scored, and it's just like it's so good.
And it made me appreciate a lot of the new stuff that they put in this, because at the beginning I was kind of comparing things like the whole transformation scene with Prince Adam.
Yep.
I'm so used to that original voice and that original transformation that I didn't give this a chance. But then I watched it again a couple times with you guys, and I'm like, yo, that transformation is fucking badass.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, you know, the bracelet and the
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that you feel it.
I mean, the way I look at it too is this show is so good, it got Chris to break his little plastic pen rule.
I'm buying toys.
He's
again,
buying
man.
toys again.
All
man.
kinds of stuff coming into the house.
He had
man.
shut the action figures off until this thing came out. He's like, want my stuff, want my stuff.
Oh wow.
So you have like a scale you do, right? For
Yeah,
scores?
yeah, we do five X's is the best. That's
Okay.
where we go. 1 out of 5 X's. If I had to give this X's, I'm gonna go with a 4.5 X's, because it's so well rounded. They open up the universe, like, you know, not even just to sell toys. They give you something to hold on to, something to chew on. It's not just your typical. Any of you guys out there that are just waiting for He-Man to battle Skeletor, you know what? You gotta earn it. You're gonna have to earn that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get the most ultimate battle you could ever think of with every character.
no question.
It is gonna be Avengers Assemble moment in
Yeah.
this series.
You're gonna get your end game.
yeah,
And I'm guessing. I mean, I've heard what's gonna happen, but I haven't heard that part of it.
yeah. There'll be a good payoff.
But I believe that that's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen, because we've gotten so much in so little time that it's like they're not introducing these people for nothing.
No, and there's no way they
So-
can't stick the landing. I don't think. I think they.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
With the writing you're seeing in this and how they
The writing
produced
is
these first 5,
phenomenal.
I can't imagine
No.
that they dropped the ball
No.
in the back half of this.
Yeah. So you went 4.5. Chris, what are you thinking out of 5?
I'd probably be somewhere in that same range, probably 4.5.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really didn't bump into anything there. There
Yeah.
were characters that I had to go research after, like towards the end.
Yeah.
That and it was only because I hadn't seen them before. It won't surprise me if that goes up by the end of it. I have high hopes for the back half of this.
Yeah,
It's
me
more
too.
me grading a little softer is because we got half a story to go.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. I'm just waiting for that next shoe to drop. How about
And,
you?
and I don't even think it needs a second season, to be honest.
Yeah, it does.
It's,
You could wrap it up in the next 5.
You could.
Yeah,
It's
and I'd be
I mean,
perfectly
yeah,
content.
It just feel like it's like a 6-hour movie or something.
Yeah, you
like
can only
that.
do
Yeah.
more though.
Like,
I'm gonna go full 5 just because I'm the
That's you.
I'm the honk. That's my style. So
You are either a 1 or a 5. There's no
Yeah,
in between
yeah,
with
there's
you,
no in
kid.
between.
There's
Between.
no in between.
listen, I'm not gonna jump in that snake pit.
yeah,
This guy, listen, it's good.
4.85.
It is. You're gonna love it.
It's great.
4.85.
4.85 because they killed Orca.
4.85.
Yeah.
It's good. It really is good. Guys, just be patient and be open-minded to good storytelling and not wasting your time, because you don't want to go in and get everything you want, and then when you're done, you're like, I'll never go back to it, or it just was what it was. Like, let this thing work, let this thing simmer and cook for you. You gotta let the meat marinate.
Marinate that motherfucker.
You know what I mean? You gotta let it marinate and stop worrying about this SJW stuff. You know what? Women have been here since the beginning of time, and they're more badass than us.
You can give a chick a sword.
Deal with it.
Hell yes.
People who spent $200 million on Black Widow, they shouldn't have a problem with T-Will picking up a sword.
And it's Tila. Like, come on. How many of you own that toy? Stop acting
Everyone.
like it doesn't matter.
The thing is,
Exactly.
I've almost been waiting for it because in the show, T-Will didn't do jack shit. And then in
No,
the
she was
movie-
an accessory.
No, and then the movie she didn't do
It's-
nothing either.
Yeah.
She would need a friggin' rib.
She just played an idiot in the original. Like, she
yeah.
didn't know nothing
She was-
going on.
yeah.
She never, I don't remember her fighting.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's like, how do you not know?
No, and you need to set her up as a strong character because, for those who know the mythos, you know what's coming, but T-Will's going to take a very serious turn pretty soon.
I hope a certain torch gets passed.
Oh, it's happening.
Oh, I think
it's
so.
happening.
It has
It's
to.
happening.
I hope
It
that
has to.
happens. Yeah, I mean, that's literally all I have to say about this. You guys have anything to add to this?
Well, I mean, let me ask you this. So, can you guys? So the way we normally end stuff up is we normally do top threes.
Okay.
Could you guys give me your top 3 favorite quick moments in the show? So whether it was a scene or something, or a beat of music, or a character design, or anything like that.
I mean, I can go.
Yeah, go ahead if you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say my top 3 moments would be definitely the
Start at 3 and go to 1.
top.
Oh, you want us to rank? I was okay.
3 would be my last one. Would be the introduction of the old gods.
Okay, so the Preternia stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Preternia stuff. That's my least favorite.
Okay.
My second favorite would probably be the ending of episode 1.
Okay, yeah.
The demise
Of the He-Man and
yeah,
Skeletor.
yeah.
Okay.
And then my number 1 is Skeletor raising that sword and saying, "By the power
Yeah.
of Grayskull." Just that line. Just
Yeah.
hearing Hamill's voice say that
Oh.
line is. I didn't
Yeah.
even care what happened after that. I was just like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy shit!"
Excellent.
Because it's cool when He-Man changes, but when Skeletor
Yeah.
changes, it's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. My 3, DJ, you touched upon one of them, Mossman.
Yep.
I mean, that's big Swamp Thing. I
Unexpected,
mean,
too. It was a very unexpected.
it
scene.
was.
Yeah.
So when I saw him, that was like, oh shit. 2, this one's gonna hurt. I apologize. Orko. It's one that pulls at the heartstrings, but it was one of your first. There's true consequences there. Like it wasn't like the beginning. Like, all right, yeah, Skeletor and He-Man disappeared. We got 9 more episodes. They're coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That
for
one,
sure.
there was a finality to Orko going down. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah,
Really?
We don't
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen with that character.
And my one is the same as yours.
Skeletor.
It's that entire scene,
Yeah.
but culminating in Mark saying those words.
Yeah.
Hearing that coming. I mean, and you talked about the transformation scene. You started down the road.
Yeah.
You know, the backdrop changed and everything, and then to have him shanked right in the middle, like right on the cusp of transformation. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were waiting.
It's
for
there.
It was
You're
that one
waiting. It's
moment
like,
you were gonna cheer.
oh,
Yeah.
here we go, man. Shit's on.
So it's like,
No.
yo, you know what, Kev? Fuck you, because you're making us wait for the
Oh,
for the
God, yeah.
next time he says it, which we probably won't even get it till the last episode
know.
of the last 5. You're making us wait to hear him
I
say
know.
those words.
I know. Which sucks.
Ah, man.
Which kind of goes into mine.
Screwing
So
us.
my number 3 is kind of like a low key moment. You don't really realize that. So I think when we did our top 3 characters, my favorite character has always been Battle Cat.
Yeah.
I like vehicle. I always like Battle Cats. I like animals, etc.
And shout out to Stephen Root.
Oh yeah, does great.
Crushed
Does great.
it.
But Battle Cat never. Like, when you go back and watch Filmation, Battle Cat never did anything really.
No.
He-Man rode him into battle. And this right off the bat, in that Preternia battle, they turn by. Battle Cat chases down and hops on Beastman and whoops his ass.
That was in the beginning,
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Yeah,
whoops
that was
his
right there.
candy ass.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
they made Battle Cat did something. So
Yeah.
that was like a self-servicing kind of thing. Number 2 is all my toys came to life. All the vehicles, the land sharks, the sky sleds,
You got
the
it
wind
all.
raiders, you got everything. And number 1, I'll go adjacent to yours, is my number was the He-Man transformation scene.
The He-Man.
Oh my god, was it gorgeous.
First time you saw it?
Yeah,
gorgeous. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Goosebumps up the back of my neck.
Yeah.
It was what I always wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So
I have a one that I kind of have that's not.
honorable mention.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Mention. The moment between King and Man at Arms.
Yeah, that's right. Because King Randor kicks him out of
He's
the guard.
always been
He's
like-
exiled.
He's always been like the right hand, the man next to the man.
Yep.
And for him to, without question, just say you are exiled.
You failed me.
Yeah.
You're out.
You come back, and it's your fucking head.
Yep. I'll go back and give you one more honorable mention. When you first bump into Man at Arms after the time jump, he's in that little village, and Triclops' guys come after him, and he takes the weapon from one of them and turns around and bats 2 more of them, and the weapon in his hand is the pack-in mace from the Man at Arms figure that you never knew why
Yes.
he came with a mace because he never had it in the show. So
Never
finally,
used
you
it.
had Duncan had the mace in his hand.
Yeah.
So
That's a good pull.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Deep
an excellent
cut.
pull.
Deep cut.
Yes.
So if you
Yeah.
match toys and cartoons, man, like, because I'm a giant toddler anyway, I'm all for that.
Nice.
So yeah, so this thing is money.
Yeah.
This thing is
This-
gold.
Yeah.
Carve out 3 hours of your time. You're gonna
Yep.
blow through all these episodes.
Yeah, you're
in
gonna watch
run.
one.
You're
You're
not-
gonna want to
Grab a
watch
couple
the next
beers,
one. You're gonna
make
watch
some
the next
popcorn.
one. Yeah, and watch with the kids or something, man. I mean, introduce them.
I can't wait to show it to my daughter.
Was there anything?
Harley's going to be all about
now,
this.
People said it was like it's darker, but it's just darker in tone. But there's nothing there's nothing kids really can't see. I mean, there's a bit of blood.
No, not.
It's not dark.
Don't they say shit once, don't they? Doesn't someone say shit or something like that?
If your kid's watching Marvel movies, you can watch
That's
this.
true, yeah.
It's not.
If your kid goes on YouTube, you can watch it.
I don't think
no kidding.
I don't think that it's dark. I think it's more mature.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't play around.
There's consequences.
Yeah, it doesn't play around, and it gets right to the nitty gritty. And there's just storytelling. It's just good storytelling, guys. Like, I don't know what you guys are expecting, what you're looking for, but every cartoon that I've seen as an adult that's catered to young adults and older have this type of tone.
Yeah.
And have this type of storytelling.
Yeah, it's very similar.
And it's
have
great.
this type of storytelling. So, if you guys are worried about something as simple as Tila taking the reins, go watch something else. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's much more than that. It's deeper, and it's a journey that's worth watching and sitting through. So
Exactly.
that's all I got to say.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. Clark,
Yeah.
thanks for having us at your place.
Thanks for inviting us.
No,
Appreciate
it's
it.
always, especially matters of the man.
Yes.
Anytime.
Guys, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to this special edition of CritiX and Klepcx FM with my guys DJ and Chris from Fan Men. Guys, tell them where they can find you.
At FMN37 on Twitter, anywhere you get your podcast, just Fan Men Podcast. And we do have a fanmenpodcast.com that's under construction, but when we do special things, we throw some stuff up there, and it will be full-fledged one day when I get around to it.
Excellent.
And where can they find you, Chris? If you want to know where you at?
Chris Davis 37 on Twitter. Chris Davis on Facebook.
Yeah.
And of course, you guys know where to find me as Klepcx across all platforms. So I try to make it simple for everybody to find me. Or you can follow us for movie news, television news, and pop culture, and our podcast Critics Talk at wearecritics.com. That's with an X, Critics with an X. Wearecritics.com. And of course, we will talk to you all later. Peace.